constant, and I have entered the security industry 3 years ago. So here are some of my contact information. My name is Jaaziel, and my personal email address is abc.car@yahoo.com. And if you play Dota 2, please search for me, Ulpal. And here's my LinkedIn profile. I do share my blogs and my research on LinkedIn, so check it out. If you have QR code scanners in your phone, I suggest that you bring it out, since I will be presenting to you some QR codes that has links. I did it since I don't want to highlight any company. Today I'm going to discuss about ransomware and how can we battle rapidly changing in the industry. I believe that you have already either encountered, analyzed, or heard of ransomware. It has been mentioned a lot of times during other talks, and I hope that I can share with you some more information and some ways that we could defend against it. And I would like to mention that there is no single silver bullet for ransomware. So I hope I can help you with this. Okay? To have an overview of what we will be talking about today, here is our agenda. First is the Ransomware 101, which contains the basic information about ransomware. Next will be the ransomware attacks. This discusses how a ransomware enters a system and what damages it could do in that system. And then third is identifying some of the ransomwares, and which are more common and notable, and some solutions, available solutions and prevention that we should do against ransomware. So now we can proceed with Ransomware 101. First of all, I hate ransomware. If you have been infected by ransomware, I bet you hate it also. But I hate it for another reason. Medyo hugot lang po ako. It reminds me of my ex-girlfriend. And the reason is, this type of malware prevents you, once it enters your system, it prevents you and limits you from doing anything you want. And the worst of all, it asks money for doing that, right? And I think, and when you give money, it will leave you. So that's the ransomware, and as of the mid 2016, there are already at least 110 known ransomware families, and this continues to grow. And this, no, I talk about that later. Okay? You might be asking, when did it start? So the first ransomware was detected as PGP coder. It was discovered in Russia in 2005, and up until 2012, only Russia has ransomware cases, and then afterwards it spread across Europe, and in 2013, CryptoLocker was discovered, and the use of Tor and multi-grade encryption has been rampant. Okay? So, if we will grade ransomware as a threat, the damage potential is very high. Imagine yourself, you cannot access any file on the system, and you may not be able to access your own computer. that will have some serious business implications. However, the distribution is low. This is because ransomware depends on downloaders or exploit kits to enter your system. There are only few ransomware families that could propagate itself or create copies of itself. And also, the update frequency is very high. There are some families that update its code every day, literally every day. So, in our monitoring, in 2014, we discovered 21 new families. In 2015, 32. And for the first half of 2016, we discovered 16 new malware families. So, doing the math, it can be easily seen that there are more ransomware families found in the first half of 2016 than 2014 and 2015 combined. And we foresee that this will continue to grow and top the charts. So, what are the types of ransomware? There are two main types. The first one is the file cryptor, and as the name suggests, this type of ransomware transforms a regular file, a known type of file, to an unrecognizable and unusable format. Okay? The most used encryption algorithms are RSA and AES. Then the next one is the lock screen. This type of ransomware prevents the user from accessing the system by locking the screen using a notification or an instruction on how to pay the ransom. Right now we have finished the ransomware 101, so I hope that you got some new information or have recalled all the information from this. Okay, we'll now go to ransomware attacks. So, I like this animation. It's very recent. You know what is happening in our country? There are a lot of killings and gunshots. I remember just this morning when I was browsing the web, I found a new news. I think it's about shooting, because the title was MILF bans a plumber, I guess. I hope that you get what I meant. Wala akong link. And for ransomware attacks, aside from the attacker, there are two main components, which is arrival and the payload. The arrival vector could be a spam mail, an exploit kit, or another malware. There are also instances that ransomware uses flash drives or network drives to deliver the ransomware. And next is the payload. As we discussed, this is the ransomware itself. And this can either encrypt the files or lock the screen. So we will now look closely at these components. First is the arrival. So first, only two, since we need a lot of time when we discuss other arrival vectors. First will be the spam. Spam has been long proven to be a successful way of propagating and distributing malware, so it has been used by ransomware. And with regards to ransomware, we found three major techniques that they use. First is a spam with a malicious link that redirects to either an exploit server kit or a download site. The next one is a spam with a malicious document, which disguises as a CV or a resume. This implies that one of the most targeted departments in our companies is the HR department, because it's their job to open resumes and documents, and not because they do not have information about IT security. And the third one is a spam with a malicious script file attaching it, which is the one that downloads the ransomware. Another means of propagation used by ransomware is through exploit kits. Basically, the cyber criminals use this technology because it's seemingly automatic and harder to spot. We will now discuss two ways of how an exploit kit could be used in the wild. So first one is the use of the remote site. Yes, it can be used with the help of malvertisement. So malvertisement was, I think, discussed by Sir Carl Dominguez yesterday. So I won't go further with that. So malvertisement is basically an advertisement which leads to malware. And then this malvertisement will redirect the network traffic into an exploit server kit. Then the exploit kit would be the one responsible for scanning the system for vulnerabilities, and will be the one using that exploit to download the ransomware. The next one is with the use of compromised sites. So compromised sites are sites that are hacked or stolen by a cyber criminal, and it can be used to download the ransomware or redirect to an exploit server kit. So the same thing happens. It scans for vulnerabilities, then downloads the ransomware. This is a compilation of some exploit kits and what ransomware it downloads in 2015 and 2016. I hope that you can use it. However, please, I think either exploit kit has been not in the business anymore. So there is a rise in the use of Neutrino, Sundown EK, and Big Exploit. So we have finished the arrival vectors. Then the next would be the payload. So the payload arrives with the use of downloaders or other malware. So it could be downloaded or dropped into the system and then install itself. Once installed or placed in the system, it connects to a CNC server, and which it could do the following, which is receive a key or send the victim information. This will help in encrypting the files and making sure that those files will be decrypted properly when the victim pays the ransom. Next one is the search. It will search, the ransomware will search for target files and directories, and when it finds the right file type, it will now encrypt it. Then, once it encrypts the file, it will search again, then encrypt, then search, then encrypt. And I guess you get my point. After all the files have been encrypted, it will now go to the presentation of the ransomware. This contains the information on how a victim can pay the ransom. So it contains the payment site or the instructions where they need to pay or how much. Okay. So what are the impact of this ransomware to the victims? Of course, the permanent or temporary loss of important files. If you have important documents, contracts that are saved in your computer, there's a chance that you might not be able to get it back. I would like to remind that not all ransomware will decrypt your files even if you pay them. So might as well not pay them. And since there is unlimited or you have no access to your system or your computer, there is a high probability that there is a disruption from your operations. So if you are doing businesses, you will have a hard time in continuing the normal operations. And the third one is financial loss when paying the ransom. Of course, if you pay the ransom, depending on how much it is, it has a significant, it will eat significant budget. Okay? And then, how much does this cyber criminals really earn from ransomware? So there is a research created by Kaspersky. They said that the average paid ransom by victims is around $300. So if around 100 victims pay the ransom for every day, then it's around 30,000, right? It's $30,000. And then for CryptoLocker alone, the cyber criminals behind them earn $30 million every 100 days. And this is a research from SecureWorks. Then there was one time that a hospital from LA paid a ransom amounting to $70,000. So there is a lot of money involved in ransomware. And whenever we pay them, we help them improve their industry and improve their business. Next will be the identification of some ransomwares which are really common today and some of the most notable ransomwares. I would like to share this because there are some systems or networks that have been already been infected by ransomware. So you need to know what type of ransomware has infected your system for you to have a good recovery or prevention next time. So the first one is locking. This was discovered in February and has continued to be on the top. And I think it has rested for a while in the mid-June 2016, then returned at the end of June. So it has been constantly on the top of the ransomware. It arrives as through spam or through nuclear exploit kits. Then what is really hard to analyze is locking because it needs an argument to run properly. So if you do not have that argument, you will have a hard time debugging or replicating the behavior. There's also an update which the Locky ransomware now uses DLL files rather than exe files. So another argument was needed to run the Locky ransomware. It's easy to spot since it encrypts the file names of the infected files, then adds .locky or .secto. And then the ransomware, the ransom node dropped by Locky has the following strings: help_instructions. So when you see those signs, then you know that Locky has infected your system. Next will be Crypt Project XXX or Crypt XXX. This is a crypto ransomware which also steals Bitcoin wallets and credentials. So it's a bit dangerous. this type of ransomware uses DLL to load its code, so it needs another file to load it, and normally it uses one DLL32. But sometimes it renames that and onto explorer.exe or WinLogon, then it loads itself. Another capability was added in recent iterations. It has added lock screen capability, so it magnifies the danger that this ransomware poses to the victims. Here are some of the updates of the ransomware. However, this is only up to the mid-2016. Right now, the latest one that I have analyzed is 5.006. So it's a bit far. The next one is really special. It's beta. Again, if you have QR code scanners, you can use them. So this redirects to a link which contains blogs and write-ups for beta. Okay? What makes this unique is that it locks the screen from the MBR. This was discussed earlier. And it does it by encrypting the original MBR, then place it somewhere in the boot sector, and then replacing the MBR with the malware, with the boot code that launches this lock screen. And then afterwards, it will encrypt not the files, but the master file payload. So even if you change the MBR, your system will not run properly. The last one is server. Server is known as the talking ransomware. So let's have a look at it. Server's arrival vector is either through spam mail or through neutrino exploit jets. And it's easy to know if you are infected by server, since the extension of the encrypted files have .server. So if you found that, then you are infected by server. And also it drops a sticky RAM signal, the one which in BBS, that is the one which speaks. So it adds more urgency when paying the ransom. Then, when you open the ransom note, it contains the word server ransomware. So you really know that you have been infected by server ransomware. Also, since I cannot discuss all of the ransomware that are existing, here are some ransomware identification tools online. You need to upload encrypted files or the ransom note to determine if what type of ransomware has infected your system and if it is decryptable or not. So when you use it, please bear in mind that you need also to protect the security of your company. So do not upload sensitive files that are encrypted. The last part of my talk is about the solutions and preventions that are available in this battle against ransomware. So here are some QR codes that you can scan for free decryption tools. I recommend the first one, not because it came from our company, but because it has a protection for both the lock screen and the file encryptor. Also, these tools have different target ransomware, so you may need to download more than one of these tools. And some of them have a capability of decrypting different ransomware families. Okay? Then the next one, of course, you cannot battle something that you do not know. So we need ransomware info, and here are some links to them. So this contains the ransomware behaviors or the traffic that involves the ransomware. So you may want to add them to your rules, and so that you really can prevent the entry of ransomware in your system. The next slide shows that another document. This is the ransomware overview audit document. This is maintained by different security researchers. So if you want to join, you may email them. They have in this page also they have their contact information. And if you want to add them, just give them your contact email and your background info, and they will add you. So we will now go to some of the things we will do to prevent the entry of ransomware or prevent further damages by ransomware. First is never open unverified email. So if you receive some emails that are coming from unknown sources, might as well report them to the IT department. And if you are the one which is responsible for the security, please add rules if these are not detected. Also, we recommend that you follow the 3-2-1 rule. The 3-2-1 rule says that you need to create at least 3 backups of your files. And they must be in at least 2 different formats. This could be in CD, DVD, in the cloud, or Google Drive, something like that. And then one of those copies are on a different location from your workstation. This is to prevent damages if ever there are fires in the mess. Then also please update your OS and applications regularly. I know for Windows users you really don't like the updates since it really takes a long time and you need to restart. But it is needed to avoid exploits. Then the last one is avoid posting your company email online. I know it is really when there are a lot of money involved, when you the referral bonus in your company. Of course, you want to gain those company bonus, and sometimes there are people that I see that share their company email. So as much as possible, use your personal email address, since you may compromise the security of your company and the security of your job. Okay? And also, I would like to add some things that you may also do. For example, if applicable in your system, you may want to change the default application that runs the JS files or script files to Notepad, so that when you accidentally click JS files, it will be open on the Notepad. And also, I recommend that you turn off the macro, disable the macro on your MS Office. And that wraps up my talk. So if you have questions, now this is the time.